Hello, hello, hello. I'm Joe Cece. Welcome. Thank you for filling this room, standing room only. A beautiful, beautiful day out in Calgary today. And here we are in the lovely Hyatt Conference Center Hotel together. What for? What do you want? Okay, let's get going. Thank you all for coming today. It's an exciting day, and welcome everyone. I told you my name. I'm the MLA for Calgary Buffalo. Yeah. When Rachel asked me to run for MLA way back in 2015, I had already decided that I wanted to run. I didn't know anyone much in the NDP, and I considered that I might run as an independent. Rachel said, "Good luck with that, Joe." She convinced me that I should run as an NDP. The second smartest political decision I've ever made. The first was to get my wife involved as my campaign manager back in 2015. No! Oh God, it was 1995. 1995. Rachel got me involved in 2015. Working with Rachel was challenging and exciting. As the premier, I was finance minister, her and I would always find it difficult to make time to meet. So we'd try and get lunches together, and you know that can only take you so far because you have to organize their security and all these sort of people. Anyway, we had a better idea. That's when we joined each other on morning runs in Edmonton and when she was down in Calgary. And every morning, she would discuss decisions, and we would talk about decisions we wanted to make together. And then she would give me my running or walking papers. As premier, she was committed to her values. She supported the vulnerable. She lifted up women and children with her policies, no matter how difficult. She stiffened all of our backs at the cabinet table and made us do things that were in the best interests of Albertans throughout this province. When Rachel announced she was stepping down, I was truly saddened. I was hoping for some sort of Hail Mary, you know, that fantastical way of thinking that puts you back in government and at the cabinet table. I knew it was an extremely hard decision for Rachel. Rachel, I wish you all the best on wherever your journey takes you. Oh, there you are. It's really hard to listen, eh, Rachel, to that because it's not about me, it's about you. Yeah. As we move on, I'm really excited to work with a new leader, whoever is elected today. The candidates have worked so very hard, and I know our caucus will be behind the leader 100%, whoever is chosen. Before we begin today's program, first I'd like to introduce Elder Alice to the stage, who will bring us greetings from Treaty 7 territory, where we stand today. Elder Alice.
Ambawa states dagun sawa mintoya debi nangaha ambane do hostewan ni tahunga bitsa ne yotabi tangane yahnahnia biktene hitsin isnis hitsigiabits nangaha ambane hitsin hamun sasta hinget Dukten ingitsobitas nanga woindu kis incubitas ingie incubitas mon ne waka tawogarebi unsakubitawat. Hitzea no. Isnies pats newinsis Spain. Hibine. Tin. Yeska wia himansawat. Yeska yados. Nondo no twagidjiha inazimintas. No isnies it's yats no unchagia toga unchagijigia. Togada pagia ya victine ne makutsine. No ahopa da. No ahuya gabitsit. No ne makutsinet no dago was narioka nangats. No ze no da ahopa bitsit awas. No nanguze nin kokizu si no hemunchasta hingetabine. No chigiabi yakubits. No ni tawagaribi watsi unche yamintia ne makutsinet. No ikbare nidnga nangabts ye. No si nabitsit no ne woinduke inkubits. Usi nabdukin ne unterhange no yabine. No daigit chebitsit chiginats. No isnies itiats. No paktusane. No ne woindukene inkubits. Usi nam itiats. Isnies.
Go Oilers. Oilers. Thank you, Elder Ellis. Work of running a political party. Garrett, can you come forward and say a few words?
Thank you. It's an honor to stand before you today. The Alberta New Democratic Party is the hope of Alberta. Today, we stand at the precipice of change. We just got the keys to a new house, and we're walking in through a threshold for the first time. In a few short moments, we'll be learning which of the 4 leadership race candidates was selected leader in a history-making vote, taking up and building upon the legacy of Rachel Notley and those that came before. I'd like to personally thank everyone that put their name forward for leadership. Political life is about sacrifice, and your contributions have made our party richer. And I would like to recognize the small but mighty team at the party office. Your commitment to our cause is clear with every late night, every weekend entering data, and every answered phone call. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. You know, as a member of this party, since I first walked into Ray Martin's federal NDP campaign office in 2011, I'm mindful today of what came before. I'm mindful of what we celebrated last night at the Rachel Notley Legacy Gala. If you were able to make it last night, you know there were moments where there wasn't a dry eye in the house. But make life better for every single Albertan. Rachel proved that New Democrats could win in Alberta, and she helped people understand that NDP values are Alberta values. Taking care of one another, building each other up, looking to the future, strong public services and healthcare that is there for you when and where you need it. Rachel showed us all what is really possible. But she will be the first to tell you that it's not just about her. It's about all of us. It is about what people can accomplish when they are working together with a common cause in the public interest. She will tell you that we are not the authors of our movement, but the stewards. And we stand on the shoulders of those that came before us, that have fought across this country for the rights of working people, the rights of women, of LGBTQ2S people, of Indigenous peoples, and for equality and a better life for every one of us. That, my friends, is the strength of our movement. That is the house that Rachel helped build. And that is the threshold that we walk through today. The impact of all those years of work is starting to show today. At the end of last year, our membership was roughly 16,000 people, and today we are 85,000 strong. But my friends, look at what we accomplished in the last 10 years with the members that we had, and imagine the potential for what we can do as the largest provincial political party in Canada today. We are working from that position of strength because all Albertans know that this party represents the viable, credible, competent alternative to Danielle Smith and the UCP. My friends, I can tell you're chomping at the bit. I can tell that you're ready to roll up your sleeves, grab a clipboard and a stack of leaflets, and get out onto the hustings and start making a bigger difference. Danielle Smith has 3 years max. Today, we put her on notice. This has been a long race. We're all tired. Remember when some of you wanted this to go to September? Well, when we leave this room, we're one team. We're united. And no matter who you voted for or what leadership campaign you're on, we need all your help if we're going to make change happen in the province of Alberta. So take a moment to think about the candidate you're going to help and the constituency association you're going to join. And hold fast to that optimism and hope that we all feel today. Thank you, and again, it's an honor that you're with us today to be part of this historic moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Garrett. Now, let me just see. Well, that was your speech. Sorry, I just don't want to do it again. Although it was brilliant. I'm almost there. Oh, please welcome Nancy Janovicek, the president of the Alberta NDP, to say a few words. Nancy.
Hello, fellow New Democrats. I know that we're all excited to welcome our new leader, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. We're here to look forward and imagine our future, but these periods of transition are also times for reflection. And I want to reflect on 2015 when I walked into the campaign office of Joe Cece's office to see what I could do to help out. But what I also remember was the growing excitement of that campaign under Rachel's leadership. My partner and I were back on our way to the office after our last canvassing shift, and we still had clipboards back then. And we were wearing our original Notley crew t-shirts. And we were walking through a community and people were stopping us, like literally stopping their cars and getting out of their cars to tell us how excited they were because it looked like the Alberta NDP could win. There was hope. Rachel, thank you for giving us hope. It almost worked. The Alberta NDP has changed the landscape of provincial politics. In government and in opposition, we have given Albertans a good choice. And moving forward, we will keep giving Albertans a good choice. We will give Albertans a choice that is committed to protecting workers' rights And as we have since our founding days, we will work with labor to ensure their right to organize and to demand good wages, safe workplaces, and job security. We will defend public services instead of gutting them and attacking the hard-working people who provide these essential services. Every Albertan has the right to health care, education, housing, and food security. And we will keep working hard to make sure that every Albertan has these basic rights and more. Bread and roses, bread and roses. Equity is a core value of our party. Our party has led the way in working to understand how different histories and lived realities of our communities and the people in our communities have created unique barriers for people. We will keep building relationships with those communities to understand what needs to be done so that no one falls between the cracks, and to fix policy if they do. The Alberta New Democrats put our commitment to equity in our Constitution, and in fact, one of my proudest moments of being a member of this party was when we supported an amendment that we would always run a slate of candidates that had gender equity, and that every CA in this province would work hard to find members of equity-deserving groups to run in their ridings. Because we know that to develop policy that addresses intersecting inequities, we need people from those communities in government. And because of our commitment to gender equity and diversity, our caucus, the largest in Alberta history, reflects the people who live in our beautiful province. Moving forward together under our new leader, 85,000 strong and growing, we will make history again when we form government in 2027. Thank you.
It's my pleasure now to invite Amanda Freestat. She is our Chief Returning Officer to the stage for the official results of the Alberta NDP race. Amanda.
Thank you. Hello, New Democrats. Thank you so much. What a crowd. There must be something going on today. My name is Amanda Freistat. I use she and her pronouns, and I'm honored to be your Chief Returning Officer. I'm really humbled to have served this party in many ways, from tabled officer to chair of the election planning committee, and we did this thing in 2015. And to now, what is the biggest leadership race in Alberta NDP history. When Rachel Notley announced on January 16th she was stepping down as leader, that decision set into motion this leadership race. And on January 27th, at a special provincial council meeting in Red Deer, delegates from across Alberta gathered to set the rules of this race. In those rules, our contestants needed to be vetted by the party, and the race for leader officially began on February 5th. Once announced, each candidate needed to raise $60,000 over a set period of time in order to be considered in the race. 7 people put their name forward to run in this leadership race. 7 strong, wonderful leaders of the Alberta NDP. David Shepherd, Raki Pancholi, Gil McGowan, Jody Callahoo-Stonehouse, Sarah Hoffman, Naheed Nenshi, and Kathleen Ganley all put their name forward to be the leaders of this party. Four of those candidates remained on the ballot today. When the race began, the Alberta NDP had, here's some numbers, folks, 16,224 members. And when membership sales ended on April the 22nd, there were 85,144 members eligible to vote. We did a little bit of list cleanup, and that list was revised, and at the end there was 85,000 277 people who were eligible to cast a ballot. Of all of those members eligible to vote, 72,930 members voted in the leadership race by noon today. Folks, that is 85.6% of the membership. To win the race today, a candidate must receive 50% of the votes plus one, or 36,466 votes. A total of 64,282 votes were cast online, 8,648 were cast by mail, and 38 ballots were spoiled. The votes have been counted. They've been audited, and they have been affirmed by me as the Chief Returning Officer, our auditor, and all the candidate representatives. But before I announce the first round of counting, it would be my honor to, for the very last time, invite Alberta NDP leader Rachel Notley to join me on the stage. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. You did such a good job. You did such a good job. Rachel, 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 Rachel. Okay, you might as well stay on your feet. So, and the results are: votes for Jody Calahoo Stonehouse, 1,222 votes. Votes for Kathleen Ganley, 5,899 votes. For Sarah Hoffman, 3,063 votes. And for Naheed Nenshi, 62,746 votes. Please join me in welcoming the new leader of the Alberta NDP, Naheed Nenshi.
Oh my God. They want the picture. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks, you're going to want to sit down because I got a lot to say. First of all, everybody, one more time for Rachel Notley. We'll have more to say about that once-in-a-lifetime leader in a few moments here. Let's also start in gratitude. Let's start in gratitude for all of you. Let's start in gratitude for our movement. But let's also start in gratitude for the extraordinary staff and volunteers who have run this extraordinary race, starting with our great CRO. Tansi, Buju, Amba Wastich, Dada Nastada, Oki Nitsukwa, Nitsuanok Abesto Chispistus, Size Etia. Bonjour, tous mes parents. Greetings to all my relations. To my Blackfoot brothers and sisters, I am known as clan leader, he who moves camp and the others follow. To my Tsuut'ina brothers and sisters, I am known as Etia, always ready, which, as you already know from tonight, does not mean always on time. And it's important for us to begin in a good way that acknowledges this place. L'histoire longue de notre province. L'histoire longue de notre province. And over the last 4 months, I have been able to spend time with people in every corner of this great place, from High Level to High Prairie to High River, from Fort McKay and Fort Chip to Fort McMurray to Fort McLeod, from Jasper to Lloydminster, in Calgary, in Edmonton, in Lethbridge, in Medicine Hat, and Grand Prairie. And we've talked about this province, about this place that we call home. And people have been calling this place home for countless generations. Since time immemorial, people have come here, drawn by the land, by the water, by the sky. They've come to every part of this province to hunt and to fish and to trade, to dance, to dream, to love, to fight sometimes. Sounds like an NDP caucus meeting minus the dance, dream, and love parts, but ultimately to engage in that very real act of building community. And today, we start the beginning of a new chapter in building that community, in building this home. So a few nights ago, my sister, who's sitting in the front row here, came over to my place. And she looked at the place and said, "This is the messiest I have ever seen your house. You cannot live like this." And I thought about it a little bit. And I thought, you know what? It is messy. And it's not perfect. In my defense, I've been a little busy. But it's home. And I've been thinking a lot about home. I was lucky enough to choose this province as my home twice. Once I was 18 months old. And I did my research and made the case and convinced my parents that the future was in the West. And we packed all of our belongings up into a 1973 Dodge Dart and moved across the country. Now, my mother says that, in fact, I'm telling that story wrong and that my briefing book was not, in fact, all that compelling, mostly in crayon. But we made a home here. Whether in a small house in northeast Calgary or a motel room in Red Deer County, we made home here. Later, just before I turned 30, after living and working all around the world, I chose to come home and to make my home here one more time forever. Because Alberta has always been home. And it became a home for a poor immigrant family from Africa, as it has become a home for people who have been here for thousands of generations, as we continue to build a home for people who arrived here last week. So 5 months ago, I was living a really good life. At home. But I, like all of you, was increasingly troubled by the direction of our government, by the direction of our province, by the direction of our home. The stories I was hearing from our premier and our government, the place they were describing, didn't feel like our home. They were describing an Alberta that I didn't recognize. They were describing an Alberta that is so very, very small. And in Alberta, we are many things, but we are not small. They were describing an Alberta where everyone is against us. An Alberta where we need to fight outsiders all the time. An Alberta where we should be scared of change instead of embracing and leading the future. That is not Alberta. Alberta is not small. Alberta is not small-minded. Because as we all know, it is impossible to think small under a sky that big. But Danielle Smith and the UCP want us to be small. They want us to be small because they think small. They see Alberta as a fortress to be defended. But what Alberta has always been is a wide open door with a welcome mat, inviting the best people and the best ideas from every corner of this broken earth to live a great Alberta life right here. You know, Danielle Smith recently said, in her way as she is, she gets carried away sometimes, and she claimed to be the most, I have to get this quote right, the most freedom-loving politician in Canada. But friends, she hasn't done a blessed thing to protect anybody's freedoms. In fact, what she does is she systematically takes them away. Taking away the freedom for doctors, parents, and kids to choose the best medical treatment for themselves. Taking away the freedom of landowners to decide what to build on their lands. Taking away the freedom of citizens to choose local representatives to reflect local views. Taking away the freedom of regulators to do their jobs without political interference and appointing cronies and lobbyists. She's taking away the freedom to disagree with the premier on anything. And she's taking away the freedom for teachers and doctors and nurses to do their jobs without fear, to do their jobs with hope, and to do their jobs with adequate funding. She's taking away the freedom for the brilliant researchers of Alberta to do any kind of research that might make her uncomfortable. So I think she misspoke. I think when she said she's the most freedom-loving politician in Canada, she meant to say she's the most power-loving politician in Canada. But Albertans have shown over and over and over and over and over again, we have shown that we are better than our premier, that we are better than her government. And this extraordinary movement that we've created together is an example of what is possible when you stop thinking small and you start dreaming big. If you've ever heard me speak before, you know one word in Sanskrit that I talk about all the time. And that word is seva. Seva means service. It means selfless service. It means service beyond oneself and service to build the community and make it better. There's no room for seva. There's no room for seva or service in Danielle Smith's tiny Alberta. But there is room for service in our hearts, in our hands, in our minds, and especially in our voices. And we will use those voices to fight for the Alberta that we want, the Alberta we need, and the Alberta that future generations deserve. So you've heard that number many times today. 85,000 members. The Alberta NDP today is the largest provincial political party in Canada. Now, I'm going to be self-indulgent for 1 second, though. Just one. Just before I got on stage, I was told that that number that you heard is, in fact, the largest number of votes for any provincial party leader in Canadian history. Look, you're not cheering for me. I have no preconceptions. I know that's not about this handsome face. But what I know that's about is the need for every one of us to make a statement about our movement. The other important number that I want to share with you is the number you heard right at the end, and I think it might have slipped by because you were getting a lot of numbers when Amanda was saying it. Did you hear what the voter turnout number was in this election? So let me tell you something. Most leadership races, for example, the recent Ontario Liberal leadership race got about 30%. Our friends across the aisle in their leadership got between 50 and 60%. No one has ever heard of an 85% voter turnout in a leadership race before. And what that means is that all of you and all the people watching online and all of our friends and neighbors who took out a membership are here to stay. We are here to stay, and we're here to continue building this movement together forever. So what does that look like? What do we do now with this movement? Well, first of all, I've been given permission that tomorrow I can take a half day off. So, tomorrow evening, the work starts again. We'll also take a break on Monday night for a hockey game. Actually, we will not take a night off on Monday for the hockey game, because this is precisely what we need to do now. At one of the recent events, I think it was at the Calgary debate, a young man came up to me, and he said something I hear every day: I've never joined a political party before. But then he kept going, and he said, so now you have to make it worth my while. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, listen, it was a big decision for me to join a political party. It was a big decision for me to identify myself with this group. But now I need your help, because now that you've got me, you've got me. So he lives in the community of Cranston in southeast Calgary. And he said, my job is to talk to my neighbors. My job is to go door to door, block by block, street by street. And over the next 3 years, my job is to flip Cranston to the NDP. And when I'm done, he said, when I'm done, my job is to go door by door, street by street, block by block, next door in Mahogany. And that is exactly how we need to be thinking now. We need to convert this movement into something that is going to build and build and build and build. We need to co-create a vision for Alberta with our neighbors in big cities, in mid-sized towns, in small rural communities, everywhere in this province. We need to work with them together to create the vision of the Alberta that we all want, the home that we all need to build together. And friends, that's our job. That's our work. So even at that hockey game, I want you to watch it in community. I want you to watch it with friends and neighbors. And during the stoppages and play. Just like last night, Rachel. They had big plans last night for those who couldn't come to the gala, which is Rachel was going to speak in the intermissions. Rachel and I have many, many things in common. I'm a little bit taller than she is. But one of the things that we really have in common is, are you seriously kidding me? You want me to speak during the intermission and you think I'll speak that long? But these are the conversations we need to continue having with Albertans, with all of our neighbors. Yes, we need to build the party infrastructure. Yes, we need to build on the magnificent work we've already done to help Albertans, our neighbors, see ourselves as an alternative. But we need to do more, empowering leaders within our movement, working with volunteers in every corner of our movement, ensuring that we are not just building a campaign-ready machine, but ensuring that as we move forward, that NDP victory in 2027 becomes inevitable. People see us as the government coming. It will not be easy. It will not be easy at all. We are going against a well-funded, a well-oiled political machine on the other side. We're going against a machine that, unlike us, is not based on values and ethics and morals and what is best for the province. Because remember, friends, winning that election in 2027, inshallah, as you all have been hearing me say, God willing, winning that election in 2027 is not the end result. It is the means to the end. That's what makes us different than our opponents. For them, winning the election is the end. Power for power's sake. For us, winning that election means having the opportunity to build that home for all Albertans now and all Albertans to come. The work, friends, is only beginning. It's only beginning. And I know this sounds hard. And guess what? It's going to be hard. But I want you to know something else. That in the struggle, in the service, together we will find extraordinary joy. Because we're going to be together. We're going to be together with like-minded people. We will find joy in the struggle. We will find joy and fun and happiness in the work that we're doing. But the real joy comes with knowing we are on the side of building that better home for everyone. And I tell you, friends, the work that we are about to go through together is going to make victory in 2027 so much sweeter. And the other thing to remember about the joy of the work that we're doing right now is that it is both a duty and an important legacy. Because as we continue to build this movement, we do so in the names of those who started this movement. We do so in the names of Tommy Douglas and Ed Broadbent and Jack Layton. And together, we do so in the names of Neil Reimer, of Grant Notley, of Ray Martin and Ross Harvey, of Pam Barrett and of Raj Panu and of Brian Mason. And we do so building on a home that all of you have worked so hard in building, that none of you would begrudge, understanding that the architect, the craftsperson, the master builder of that home was a once-in-a-lifetime politician that we are so grateful to have had as our leader, Rachel Notley. Rachel! Rachel! Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for everything. So we've talked a lot en famille. We've talked a lot in the family in this room today. But I want to talk to some people who aren't in this room. And I want to say to all of our Albertan neighbors, all of our Albertan friends, you have a home here. And let me tell you my story. I've been out on the sidelines for a while. I have been out living a good life. You know, in Hamilton, they say you want to be in the room where it happens. I was perfectly happy being in the room adjacent to where it happens. But like all of you, I was increasingly troubled by this indulgent provincial government, but also being told by so many people, the stakes are too high right now. This is no time for bystanders. Every single one of us is called upon to do every single thing we can do to build this home. So I don't have a lot of skills. There's not a lot of things I'm good at. Do not ask me to help you fix your car or patch your drywall. Bad things will happen. But so many people said to me, as they've said to all of you, as you have all said to so many folks, and I'm now talking to the people not in the room today, let's all dream bigger. Let's dream of a better Alberta for everyone. And for me, I was wondering what that meant. Do I do more political commentary? Do I help out others who want to run for office? Because you know me, still wearing the purple. The purple is an invitation. It's an invitation to people to say, set aside who you think you are, and let's define ourselves by our common humanity. And I thought to myself, well, I got no political home. But then I talked to so many of you, to members of this party in every corner of this province, and I realized I do have a political home. My political home is here, in the Alberta NDP. And now 85,000 of our friends have found a home here. 750,000 people voted for Rachel Notley in this party in the last election. So we have built that home. And our job and our challenge is to ensure that all Albertans see their home in this party. But you know what? When we think about what we stand for, strong publicly delivered healthcare and education, standing up for the rights and the dignity and the opportunity for every single human being who shares this earth with us to live that life of dignity. Not being bystanders to environmental crisis, but leading the world in climate change. Creating an economy that is prosperous for everyone. Ensuring that Alberta is affordable and inclusive and everyone is welcome here. You've heard me say many, many times over the years, that the promise of this place is a simple promise made under that giant blue sky. It is a promise that regardless of what you look like, regardless of where you come from, regardless of how you worship, regardless of whom you love, regardless of your level of ability, regardless of how much money is in your pocket, you belong here. You are welcome here. So we started today in gratitude, and I'd like to wrap up this part of the day in gratitude as well. So first of all, I like to live my life in gratitude. You know, I like to wake up every morning and say, what's good today? And this morning I woke up and said, what's good today? And I said, I might have to make a speech. But first of all, I'm grateful for every one of you. I'm grateful for those of you. Actually, I'll ask the question, how many of you have been longtime members of the NDP, more than 2 years? So I'm deeply grateful to every one of you. I'm deeply grateful to you for building this home where you will always have a home. For those of you who took the risk, and put down your $10 and like me said, oh boy, it's time to identify, and Rachel said last night something that I wish she had warned me about 4.5 months ago. Once the NDP gets their fingers in you, they never let go. So, welcome. Welcome to your new political home. One more time, let's hear it for the people who put on this race, the hardworking staff and volunteers of the Alberta NDP and our brilliant CRO. But now, I'm going to invite some people on stage that I'm deeply grateful for. So let's begin with these extraordinary women who I've been able to learn so much from and be inspired by and wowed every single day on this campaign trail. Let's say thank you to Gil McGowan, who could not be with us today, for his extraordinary contribution. And if they could please join me on stage, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Hoffman, Kathleen Ganley, Jody Callahoo Stonehouse, Now, one of the things I was nervous about when we first started all of this is I didn't know how the NDP politicians would take me. I'm a lot to take. And so I especially want to thank my NDP caucus colleagues who worked hard on this campaign. So please join me in welcoming our Executive Chair, Raki Pancholi, our campaign co-chairs, Cord Ellingson and Parmeet Singh Boprai, Parmeet Singh Boprai, of course, being my MLA, so he had no choice in the matter. And the rest of our group text, the Team Nenshi endorsers. Come on up. Samir Kayande, Rhiannon Doyle, Rod Loyola, David Shepard, Marie Renault, Najwan El-Junaid, everyone. Folks, last year you elected the largest opposition in Alberta history. Let's bring them on up. Your NDP MLAs, everybody. Thank you, Lori. good. Hey. This stage is getting very crowded. But folks, your Alberta NDP team, we're going to continue to work hard to build this home every day for all of you. And I know I speak on behalf of my fellow candidates up here. A special thank you to all the volunteers who worked so hard on all the leadership races. And a special thank you to all my colleagues. We may have taken different paths in this leadership race, but we are a completely unified team. But it's not just about politicians, friends. So if I may, first of all, I want to thank the most important people to me, without whom I would be nowhere. My dad passed away in June of 2012. And I know he's up there today, keeping an eye on all of us, wondering why my speech is so long. But of course, he leaves behind him an extraordinary legacy. And folks, I want you to meet my family. So I would love to invite my family up on stage with us right now. My mother, Nurja. My sister, Shaheen, who promises to stay off social media from now on. My brother-in-law, Elnur. And my amazing nieces, Asha and Sophia. And you can all say happy 21st birthday to Asha. I need to tell you something political now. This campaign that we've just run, I'm a political guy, right? I've been a politician for a long time. I have been studying politics my whole life. I have never seen a campaign like this before. It is the most extraordinary group of people who came together to talk to their neighbors and make it happen. And I want to invite some of our campaign volunteers, just a tiny smidge of the number of people across this province who helped us here. So starting with our campaign directors, Deborah Corbin, Zane Velji, Chima and Kemdarim. And all the rest of the Team Nenshi volunteers, come on up. Now we're going to see how many of them we can fit on stage. So, Team Nenshi volunteers, come join us. I wanted these folks to come up because I want all of us to see not just what the Alberta NDP looks like. Squeeze in, squeeze in. I'll go right to the edge, and I'll lose my mic. I want you to see not just what our party looks like, not just what our home looks like, but what Alberta looks like. So, folks, let's finish off today by remembering those immortal words of Dr. King, of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when he said, "Now, let us begin." Now, let us rededicate ourselves. Now, let us rededicate ourselves to the long and bitter but beautiful struggle for a new world. This is the calling of the children of God, and our brothers and sisters await eagerly our response. So, folks, we have a response for them. And that response is that we will work hard for this Alberta, that we will work hard under this endless sky for those big dreams, that we will work hard so that every single person who's lucky enough to share this land has that life of dignity. Folks, this is what we're going to do for Alberta, for all of us, for our home. Thank you all. All righty.
Love you.